How you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Michael. We're going to be doing a Virgo read, okay? Let's see. Spirit, what do you have for the Virgos? Okay, the first thing we have is God never dies, therefore I cannot die. Right? A symbol of God's omnipresence and the perpetual existence of the human spirit. So the soul doesn't die, right? So ensure that you guys are constantly reminded that. So because our soul, it perishes from our body, but it doesn't die, you need to have that understanding that the ancestors, your great-great-great-grandmother that passed over before you, or a recently family member that might have passed. I don't want to jinx anything, so I'm not going to say any specifics. But what I will say is, when it comes on to this type of situations, we have to remember that those people are still around us 24/7, still watching over us. So we need to be connecting with these people. Make sure you guys get altars set up. Make sure that you guys are communicating with them. I have my grandmother right here, you know what I mean, that recently passed. Make sure that you guys are incorporating them into your day, because they are still around, they are watching over you, right? They do want to make sure that you don't forget about them, right? So next we have is rays, right? And as you can see, that eye, that's like the third eye, right? But in a good way, right? The original all-seeing eye symbol that represents the cosmos is a spirit world. See, when you have the all-seeing eye ability, you see things that other people might not see. Kind of like reading between the lines type of vibe, right? You always look at every angle, right? You see things that people don't really peep out. You know what I mean? It's like if you talk to an older guy, you talk to a young guy, there's two different situations. Now, some younger guys have older souls, some older guys have younger souls, but it depends on the person. So if you talk to somebody that's aware of what's going on in the world, aware of their situation, aware of their surroundings, aware of their tactics, they will often tell you, you might see somebody pushing a shopping cart, but they can see something different. You know what I mean? They could see somebody that's on edge, somebody that's, shopping because they're stressed out. You know what I mean? It's just kind of looking at those situations in a different lighting. You know, if that makes sense to you guys. It's just more so reading in between the lines what's going on, right? Just having that bird's eye vision on a lot of things. And not just seeing things that are right here, but more so trying to read between the lines. That's often how a lot of stuff is hidden. In between the normal stuff. It's like when they say that great things can be hidden in like hide and go seek when you're standing right there, because people are typically not thinking that you're gonna stand right there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a lot of things are hidden in plain sight. So having that third eye vision is just more so being able to peep out that type of stuff, right? So we have wisdom knot for you guys. Wisdom knot came up for my Virgos. Symbolizes wisdom, intelligence, and ingenuity. A wise person has the capacity to choose the best means to attain a goal, right? So whenever you want to attain a goal, you gotta really think about it, right? I know it sounds like inhumane, program, whatever, but the best companies that you probably go to every single day have a systematic way of doing things, right? So you gotta treat your goals and desires the same exact way. You gotta have a system in place. You gotta work on that system, and it will change, and it will I want to say morph or transform into different avenues. Like for me, when I first started, it was different the way I do my setup, the way I come across and everything. But it's called evolving, and you will learn and pick up on new different tactics to associate with your dreams and journeys to get to that peak level that you're trying to gain. So it's like training, right? Whenever somebody gets in something for the first time, they're often uneasy, and then as they continue doing it, and they got that system, they can make whatever it is that they're trying to achieve, right? So it says, he who wants to be king. Your next message is, he who wants to be king, for my Virgos out there. So we have, he who wants to be a king must first learn to serve. You guys ever been around a great manager, great boss, or a great associate, great co-worker, great relationship, whatever it is? Always remember that that person had to be in your position at one point. So whenever you look at somebody and idolize them, when you look at an individual and say, wow, they're doing this, wow, for my artists out there, you might be looking at anybody that's in the mainstream situation and saying, wow, I wish I could be that. Or for my sports players, you guys might be looking at mainstream sports players and saying, wow, I wish I could be a household name. Those come from understanding your position, right? So whenever you have somebody of a higher level, or you believe, let's say you believe, because maybe they're really not, but let's say you believe they're a higher level than you, or you're trying to, achieve that, you're getting motivation, you get inspired. Nothing wrong with that. But let's say you have this situation where you're trying to get motivated, you're trying to get inspiration from an individual. The best part about when you get to the top, you also have to remember to learn to work hard. Like, just because somebody's at the top, or somebody's a boss, a manager, and things like that, they still have to be the hardest working, and they still have to relate. You know what I mean? And that's typically what, for an example, if you see a sports player, right? You see they say they come from nothing, right? You say they come from the area you're from, the situation you're from, the financial stabilities that you're from. So apply that to everything. Like, okay, this sports player was from the projects, I'm from the projects, I relate to him. When you get to that position, all this card is saying, when you get to that position, you also have to learn to be where you're at first, right? Learn that first, understand where you're at. Your situation of being in poverty, your situation of not having a relationship, your situation of being behind on bills, anything you apply this to. Look at your situation, because when you get to the top, you still have to be able to reflect. You still have to be able to, associate yourself, like, in a way where, obviously not go back and all of that, but like not hang around or like in a safe way, but reflecting on or being able to, I want to say, what's the word I used earlier? I want to say, like, relate to somebody can help somebody else know that it's possible, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times in life, our purpose sometimes is to serve others as well as just ourselves. You know what I mean? So you might be in a purposeful way where somebody might look at you as a king or queen, but we also want to be able to be relatable. So it's important to understand where you're at right now and enjoy the process and enjoy the growth and the development, because there's going to be somebody, like right now you idolize somebody else. There's going to be somebody that one day idolizes you, and when they understand that you understand that the king and queen still have to relate to the people of the workers, you can be a possible motivation and inspiration to them, right? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. What else we got? So now we have war horn for my Virgos out there. War horn. A symbol of villages and warriors. The Akabian is a horn used to sound a battle cry. So you can be going into battle, you know what I mean? A lot of times, and there's a lot of frustration going on, a lot of things have been taking place. A lot of things is happening, but it's a battle being called upon you, right? A battle of maybe self-reflection, a battle maybe of, like I said, related to people. There's some type of battle that's taking place where you're now getting prepared for it, right? It could be a spiritual battle, it could be a physical battle, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you get your mind, your body, your soul, and all of that right for whatever battle takes place throughout your life, right? We have change your attitude. It's very important. Change your attitude. Make sure, for my Virgos out there, that you are consistently changing your attitude from bad to good throughout the day. Signifying personal reflection and transfer meaning is a composition of two Amtrika symbols. The inner star, which represents a new day, and the outer wheel, which implies moving forward. So ensure you guys are moving forward. Ensure you guys are starting a fresh day off with a fresh start, and you're consistent with everything you do, right? All right, let's see what else we have for my Virgos out there. All right, so the next one we have is I'm not carrying your basket. This could be an indication of people trying to make you carry their situations or try to make you feel like you're responsible for whatever they created and things like that. So we have I'm not carrying your basket, a symbol of self-reliance and economic self-determination. See, let me tell you guys something, right? You can't help others if you can't help yourself, right? And others sometimes feel like you should be dragged into this situation just as much as they are. When it comes down to people trading problems, nobody really wants to trade problems when somebody else's problem is bigger than theirs. Y'all heard that statement before, I'm sure. So typically when they feel like you should help out because you're a family member and all of that, if y'all didn't make it or break it together, if they wasn't there when you was at during tough times, then you're not obligated to assist. You can help if you want, you know what I mean, but you're not obligated to assist them. So don't get discouraged and feel like, oh man, this person is, I'm obligated. No, you're not obligated for somebody, especially when they wasn't there for you, you know what I mean? We have twisting. Twisting also came up for my Virgos out there. Twisting has came up for you guys. We have a symbol depicting the twists and turns of life and the needs to be versatile and resilient to survive. Versatile just means flexibility. Very important, because there's going to be situations where you have to learn to be able to adapt to the environment that you're being put in, right? It's like, for an example, if you're over here with the rich people, confirmation. If you're over here with the rich people, you're getting money and you're wearing jewelry and all that, but something goes wrong, you end up back in poverty. When you end up in poverty, let's say it was not in poverty, you end up in poverty having to, just resign in a motel for a couple weeks just so you get your money back, right? You're not going to be over there with a Rolex on around people that ain't really got it, because number one, I'm telling you like this, number one is disrespectful, right? Let's just keep it real. Like, in what world is it respectful to hang around with a $100,000 watch around people that can't even pay the bills? You gotta rationalize that, right? That's number one. Then you have it where people get offended and all of that. Like I said, it comes down to respect. It's just not saying you can't have what you want, but you can't expect people that could barely afford anything, and you're staying in the same exact location as them, right? I'm not gonna call them no names or nothing. I'm just saying, like, realistically, you can't expect that, because if we was in their nature, our natural instinct is to survive. So if we're out there in the wilderness and somebody pulls up on you with a steak and you ain't ate in days, you're gonna want to take that steak, because you're gonna look at your life as more important. That's what we come down to. Oh, my life is more important. So, respectively, I want to say, when it comes down to it, be versatile, be flexible. Adapt to your environment. Oh, I was over here, I was making money, I had the Rolex on, I was cool. I just say Rolex because pretty much all y'all know what a Rolex is. I was cool, I had 100K, I wanted a bunch of people that had 100K. Alright, cool. My situation changed. I'm not able to afford this new apartment, I gotta go in the motel. Okay, let me just stash away these Rolex and stuff just so I get my money back up, so I can go back in my environment that that you love. You know what I'm saying? Go back into whatever environment. If you like living here, then you like living here, doesn't matter where you at. Just adapt to your situation. Just as you're not going to take, for an example, if you're at a pool party and you have a water gun, right? You're not going to go and take that water gun to go shoot bears or something with. Like we have to be able to adapt. Like if they said, hey, we're going hunting, you're not going to bring that water gun with you. You're going to go adapt to the environment. You're going to say, okay, this calls for real life ammunition, so I'm going to go and get a real gun. So just these little things that we need to be flexible with, and we can use these same scenarios, you can use these same definitions and apply that to your everyday life. Adaptivity is like the survival of finish. It's like why a lot of animals are able to survive, because they can adapt quickly and adapt efficiently to what's going on, right? So adaptivity, flexibility mindset. It's like if you're at work or something, and say you work at a fast food restaurant, for an example, right? And a milkshake drops, right? Instead of you just getting all upset and being like, oh man, the milkshake dropped. I had this whole plan where I was gonna put the milkshake here, and no, let's just pick the milkshake up or throw it away and then start over. Like let's adapt so that we don't waste time, because eventually you're gonna have to pick that milkshake up off the ground. So to prevent wasting time with arguing and bickering about the fact that you gotta pick that up again, just pick it up, move on, and continue on your day. You can't go back and rewind it, so you might as well continue it, right? But that's gonna be the reading for the Virgos. Hopefully you guys find anything I said educational, informative, spiritual, anything like that, confirmational, something. If you guys find it interesting, like the video, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. If you wish to see more videos, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Micah. This was a Virgo read, and I will see you guys on the next video.